So last week I did a podcast. I'll link that down below. It's a German podcast called Mixed Personalities, and it's in German, so only listen to it if you understand German. But they asked me one question, which I really had to think about afterwards, right? So the podcast wasn't scripted. I didn't know the questions before. The question was, please define your style. And that seems like a pretty simple question, but it really made me think. And I think my answer was like pretty to the point, or like how I answer that question basically. And my answer basically was, if I managed to give you a quick answer, I failed. And that's honestly, I really wanted to like make a video about that and elaborate a bit more, because I think that's such an important topic. And if you're new to the channel, you might be, or if you're new to my Instagram, like both have probably the similar aesthetic. But if you're new, you probably are a bit confused, right? It's this guy, like, I have videos on CCP, next video is on Capital, then I have a tech word like a Salomon shoe, for example. So it's like seems to be all over the place, and it might be really confusing. I know, for example, like the people that watch the videos, right? So I have a couple of followers that are into avant-garde, a couple of followers that are into tech wear, some are into gorp, etc., etc. It might be really confusing that I sort of like dabble in all categories and all styles. So I kind of wanted to explain like my philosophy on personal style, but also like my basic idea behind jumping through different categories, if that makes any sense. So I would say everybody is on the journey, right, of finding his or her own style. The easiest thing to do is, right, to say, okay, I'm into avant-garde, so I just buy all avant-garde brands, and then or into tech wear and I buy all the tech wear brands. And then even easier is to say, okay, I focus on one brand, right? And to me, that has not much to do with personal style, because then it's the designer of the brand who styles you, right? Let's say you're dressed in all CCP. There's not much creativity on your side in that case. And that's something that I don't like. I mean, it's cool if you dress in only CCP or only Rick or whatever. But to me, the moment when you, the wearer, like combines different aesthetics, that's where your creative part is. And to me, that's a creative responsibility, right? I think I have to like use my brain to create an outfit. Honestly, when I think about it, to me, it doesn't make much sense that a person only likes stuff in one genre. That's just too narrow for me. If you follow this channel, you know I love avant-garde. That's probably the main area. The most brands that I like are in avant-garde. I also love tech wear, and gorpcore, like those two, to me, like kind of go in the same area, even though the aesthetic is drastically different. But that part I'm also really interested in. First of all, the functionality. Second, I do a lot of sports, so I'm always like looking at new stuff like that can improve my sports, obviously, but then I try to move the sports pieces to my lifestyle, I guess. Then another chapter or category is like the whole Americana vibes. I mean, I love Capital, as you probably know, and it's really hard, like when you look at Enthält, right, and you check like avant-garde listings, like they include Capital in avant-garde, which is kind of a weird choice. Like to me, that's more like Americana probably, and a bit of gorpcore maybe. Greg Lauren, for example, is the same, right? Avant-garde designer, but to me it's more like Americana, I would say. So different genres, but I think my job, my responsibility is like to pick items and ideas from all those different categories and merge them into my own personal style. And that's the goal with the channel. And then it looks kind of weird, like the one day I review a CCP piece and the next one is gonna be a Capital one. But I think when you understand like the bigger picture, it kind of makes sense. And to me, it's a journey. My style is not always the same, right? It's always those categories, but like a couple of months, I'm really like deeper into the avant-garde side of things, but I still wear the other stuff, right? I try to combine those. For example, I do like, I don't know, let's say my Elena Dawson blazer, and then I rock it with a pair of Salomons, right? And it's an unusual look, I would say. And that has always been my challenge, like to combine all those and make it work. And I'm still definitely not there yet. But every few months or weeks or whatever, depending on how I feel, the focus is gonna be on one of those 4 categories. But I always sprinkle in other pieces from the other categories, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I don't wanna be the avant-garde guy or the tech wear guy. That's too simple for me. I think like our personalities, right? We have complex personalities, we have complex tastes, and it's our job like to educate our tastes and find your own style. I think nobody should look alike. And again, right, I respect you if you only wear rig, that's cool, or have one outfit and you look similar to others, also cool. But that's not what I'm trying to do. Every single genre that I mentioned like has a distinct look that really describes that genre, right? If you think about like rig aesthetic, you know exactly what rig aesthetic is. I think also the same for CCP, by the way. And techwear is probably even the most stereotyped, I would say, or not stereotype. I don't know you know what I mean, like the main like model silhouette. So in techwear you have a rain jacket, 3-layer Gore-Tex, many pockets, and then like a drop crotch pants out of a technical fabric, and then probably some like waterproof zip boots or whatever. So it's always a similar aesthetic, and that's to me too easy to be put into a category, right? So I want to challenge you, right, to think outside the box and really think about like what you like and what your style could be. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And I thought it was such an interesting question, even though the question is like, what's your style? Define your style. It's such an easy question, but I think the answer should always be difficult for every single one of us. And for the past year, I have been wondering in the same circle or in the same 4 categories that I mentioned. And it used to be like, okay, deep into avant-garde. I did that for a year. Then deeper into techwear. Then back to avant-garde. Then I bought more capital stuff. Then back to avant-garde. And at some point I realized, okay, why not? Because I always went back, right? It never changed. Like it's not something that I suddenly am interested in, like tailored suits or whatever. So since it's always the 4 categories for me, I thought, okay, kind of makes sense to combine it and also document it, right? That was one of the reasons why I started YouTube, because I wanted to like document my journey in finding my own style. I'm not there yet. I don't think there's a defined finish point for that. So when I'm 60, I'm still gonna be like moving around and defining my style, finding my style, evolving. Doesn't always mean that it's improving, right? But changing, right? Tastes change, and that's okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, fashion is entertainment, fashion is fun, right? It's supposed to be like a positive thing in our lives, and I hope it is for you. It definitely is for me. It makes so much fun, like with Skinosh, making bags, but also doing those kind of videos, talking with you guys. So this is our journey together, and I really appreciate you watching my videos. And that's enough rambling for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on Sunday. Cheers.